comment, like, and subscribe. Alright, what's happening YouTube? Okay, so today is August the 11th. You probably saw my other video while I was getting the Fox body ready to go, but waiting on a balancer. Took it a week to get here. I want to show you a few things here that you may not have noticed before. So this is the stock balancer. It's a stock Ford balancer, which means a 50 ounce weight on it. This is the balancer I got from Late Model Restoration. It's a 28 ounce. You can see they actually bolted the 28 ounce weight on it. And I've got them sitting here. The one from LMR comes with this spacer you have to attach. And the way it attaches, you basically just push it down on there. I don't have it flush. You just kind of push it down on there and they give you these little screws. You put those in it and it holds the spacer on. And what you want to make sure of, that when everything is on there, they are the same height, which they are, because that'll affect your pulley alignment. So anyway, this is the one that caused the motor to shake. This one should put the motor in balance. I'm going to show you a quick trick. If you want to know about your timing marks, you got your old balancer here. Turn them the same way and then look for your balancer marks, because this balancer comes with a lot of numbers in various places. You're like, well, which one's my mark? Well, you can see I've already identified it, but you put your keyway in the same place. You find your factory mark, which mine right here was on 10 degrees. And then you find your 10 degree here and you mark it. So that way when you go to set everything in the car, you've already got a mark. Now what I do, I put a little piece of tape on each side of this to make me a nice clean line. I use just a chrome pin that I've got and put a mark against it. So I have it on 10 because with the Holley Terminator X, you do a static timing set on it. I always like to start at 10, put it at 10, and make sure when you do your static timing that is on 10. This should pick up my timing light really well, and then we'll go from there. So now I'm about to put this on. One thing before you put it on, get a little dab of silicone and put it right here inside the keyway. That will allow it to make sure it doesn't leak any oil. Everything else is good to go. All right, and just like that, the balancer is on with the spacer. You can see where it lines up there with the timing mark right there. And I didn't even need the install tool. What I did was take some grease, put around the outside of this and around the inside, except for the keyway. On the keyway, I used some black silicone, just right in the keyway, about an inch down should be fine. And then I got it to wiggle on a little bit, but I couldn't get the threads to engage on my bolt. So I took a rubber mallet and just went around and tapped it real easy, and it started going down. I got it till I could get at least 8 full threads of the crank bolt all the way down. Then I took my Milwaukee little cordless impact here and got it all the way down and got it tight. What I have to do now is to get it fully torqued, I need to kind of put it in gear. Right now I don't have a transmission, so when I get the transmission, I'll put it in gear. You need to torque that to at least 90 to 100 foot-pounds of torque, just to make sure everything's where it needs to be. But I can still go ahead and assemble it. It is tight. Get the crank pulley and all that on it, the accessory crank pulley on it for the Vortec and all, and get the belt hooked up. So we're real close now to putting it all back together. Hopefully this new balancer is going to fix the out of balance problem it had, because I got a 28 ounce, this is a 50 ounce, and clearly with that groove it was wore out. So I think that was the problem. Well, ran into a problem. These are 3/8 by 16 grade 8 bolts. These are 1 3/4 inch, and going through the Vortec lower pulley, that gave me enough room to go into the stock balancer. Unfortunately, this balancer with the spacer, it takes up that little bit of room, so I can't even get a thread started. So I had to order longer bolts. So I got 2.5 coming, which is 2 days to get them. So long story short, had to order some new bolts for I can put the actual crank pulley on there. But the balancer is on the car now. I think I was calling it crank pulley earlier, but the balancer's on and ready, and I just got to put the crank pulley on it, which I've got to wait because I don't have the long bolts for it. that's annoying. So essentially, you still got a shake in it with the 28-ounce flywheel and balancer. So let me tell you what I think's happened. Let me show you the balancer and the flywheel that came with this motor. As I told you before, that's a stock Ford balancer at the 50-ounce weight on it, right, from the factory. And this is a stock Ford balancer. You can tell it's the 50-ounce from this big piece here. One thing I didn't pay attention to, and it's my fault, we'll call it comedy of errors, is that this balancer has these holes drilled all around it, right? And so does the flywheel. There's supposed to be holes in it, but not this many to go through it. And so I took that as somebody took the stock stuff and they drilled it out to make it a 28-ounce. That's why I put 28-ounce. Every stroker motor I've ever had has been a 28-ounce balance. After putting all that back together, literally the car's ready to go. If I just put I'm waiting for longer bolts for my crank pulley that I can put the radiator in. This car's done. Like, the exhaust is on it, the drive shaft's in it, I gotta hook the shifter handle up. Fluid's in it though. Like, this thing is ready to go. And this is the second full time I've had it back together. And something just kept gnawing at me, like, why is this thing got that shake in it? Well, the only thing left is this a neutral balance motor, which means when they balanced the crankshaft, they took the stock stuff and they lightened it up to make it zero balance. Normally that only happens on like full race motors. You have to pay extra for it. All right, so easy thing. I went in here and just pulled the balancer off with my little puller here. And you can see the nice thing about the balancer I bought is a 28-ounce, but it has this removable weight. So technically, if I pull those two Allen screws out and pull that weight off, this will be a zero balance, or zero, yeah, you know what I'm saying. It'll be balanced at zero. So if I do that, that's the easy one. The hard one is I gotta take everything back out, exhaust, transmission off, bell housing, clutch, and the flywheel to take the weight off of that. And then it should be a neutral or zero balance. And maybe that'll smooth it out. Who knows? Aggravation. But comedy of errors, sometimes it happens. Not everything's perfect, but I'll show you when I make mistakes. This is if I made a mistake because I just didn't know what it was, but we'll figure it out. All right, swap the weight out, which is here. Took that off, pretty easy. Stuck the balancer back on, right there. Fired it up, still has a shake in it, but it is better than it was. So now the hard part. Now I gotta take everything out from under the bottom, take everything apart, take the flywheel off, and remove the weight off the flywheel, and that should make it zero neutral balance, and hopefully that'll be done. But man, this thing has been an absolute pain. It's my fault, but it's fun. Live and learn. But yeah, this is a zero balanced crankshaft, internally balanced basically, which is cool. Race motors have it and this motor hasn't, so we'll see. But start off with 50-ounce. It was so bad it was shaking the dash out of it. Went to 28-ounce. I thought it was better, and it was slightly better. Changed the balancer and it seemed to be worse when it was 28, you know, because of course that was a zero up there before. And now with the 28 off the balancer, it's even better, which tells me it's in the flywheel now. So comedy of errors, my fault. All right, project update, because I'm tired of fighting this thing. This is my flywheel I just took off. It's got the 28-ounce weight on it. And this is the flywheel that came with the motor. You can see it says 347 written down here. And yeah, it's got all these extra holes drilled in it. All right, what's up YouTube? So it's Saturday. Took a couple of days off from working on this thing. Got aggravated, was gonna pull the motor out, and I said there's one last thing I haven't done, which is zero balance and zero flywheel. I was gonna do it, and then for some reason I didn't do it, so I've taken it all back apart. Here's the transmission again. This is the flywheel that came with it. I just pulled out. It was worse with that. So what I have established, the more weight you know you're putting on it, the worse it is. That's 50-ounce. I had 28. It still shook. So what I'm doing now is I got my new balancer with the weight off. It should be zero or neutral. I got my flywheel with the weight off. Should be zero or neutral. No transmission, no clutch. And I'm gonna start it up and we're gonna see if it still shakes. If it still shakes, I'm just gonna pull the motor out. If it doesn't shake, I'll keep the motor in it. It's that simple. That's the best it's been so far. It's gonna have a little shake because the motor's gonna shake some. There's no transmission to support it. There's no jack under it. That's literally sitting on the motor mount, so it's gonna shake. But I can tell you, that's a lot better than it was. It's okay. Maybe I have finally figured this damn motor out. You try 50 ounce, didn't work. That's what came with it, the pieces. Tried 28 ounce, didn't work. Switch some things around, and now it's zero. It seems to be not bad. So I'm gonna put it back together, and we're gonna go try to drive this thing and see if it's worth all this damn effort. So I don't know if I showed you how to do the quick test like that, but no transmission. See in there, no clutch, just the flywheel by itself. One bolt hanging the starter on at the bottom, and not even hooked up the oxygen sensor. There's the wideband just sticking there. And I cranked it, and then you could tell it wasn't shaking. So after all that, this is over the 4th time, probably 5th time if I think about it, trying to sort out this imbalance this thing had. All right, nothing hooked up at the front, but I got the transmission hooked up and the exhaust. So let's try another test run. Look at that. Oh, so much better. Like it's supposed to be. Wow. Nice. Awesome. All right. So now that we got that fixed, after what I called a comedy of errors, got a bunch of boxes here. Some of those parts were for a project coming up, head gaskets, intake gaskets and all, because I thought I was gonna pull this motor apart and put everything on this one, but it's all right. We're gonna get this one ready to put back together as a spare. But I have a new AC line here. This one goes from the condenser to the firewall. I think I told you in the other video, it's the one I didn't change. And after seeing some of my followers, they recommended, you know what, man, while you're there, change it. I have to agree. So I'm gonna change that line, put the crank pulley on, put the radiator in, put fluid and all in it, make sure it's got air out of it, and put the belts on, and we're gonna go for a test drive. Oh, and I gotta recharge the AC. This motor really is giving me a hard time. So I finally put the radiator back in, got all the belts and all on, putting fluid in it. And the way you do it on these, just leaves the upper tube off, start filling it till it comes out through here, and then you should have all the air out. Well, as I'm doing that, check that out. I got a leak. It's coming right out of the water pump. So I'm gonna continue to fill it up with water, crank it, hope that it's been sitting up for a while. Maybe when it runs a little bit, it'll seal itself up. But if it doesn't, it means I got to take the front accessories off of this thing to put a water pump on it. Now what sucks is I have a brand new one on this motor, but I didn't want to take it apart because I'm going to leave it, you know, as intact as I can. So what it might mean is I get it running. If it doesn't quit leaking, I got to take it apart again to change the water pump. So if you like hot rodding and you like working on stuff, this is for you. If you don't like working on stuff and having constant problems, don't have a hot rod. this cam's a lot smaller than the cam in the other motor. Really good. Said the other motor definitely had problems. This one's running great. The only thing I've got a problem with is when I hit the clutch and go to slow down, the idle air control's not catching it. So I might need to adjust that. Other than that, it's running really strong. All right, successful 2 test drives. One was to go around the block. I was pushing the clutch and it was trying to die on me. So I adjusted the IAC a little bit and I turned up the throttle body just a little bit as well. I'm assuming just with these heads and the intake and all, and you know, that other thing was leaking, it needs a little bit more air. So I adjusted it, drove it, seemed to be a little better. It's still learning. You can see in my learn table that it's learning. This doing good, you know. This motor doesn't hit nowhere near as hard as the 331. It does have bigger heads and it's bigger cubic inch, so that will make a cam appear to be a little smaller than a smaller cubic inch motor. But not knowing the specs on it, I'm assuming this cam's at least 1 size, maybe 2 sizes smaller than what's in the 331. But it runs good. It makes good torque, great mid-range. It smokes the tires like as soon as it starts coming on boost. And it didn't break up at higher RPM. I actually touched rev limiter a couple times, which is 6,300. But as soon as I hit 6,000 RPM, it was at 14 pounds of boost again. So I got my boost back. My spark's fine. It's not the coil. It's not the TFI module. It was that leaking intake gasket the whole time right here. And you can just about see my finger there through it. But that was the reason. See, it's still sealed from the water jacket, but it was leaking right there. And you can see a little carbon tracking right here where it's pushing it out. What's hilarious is it passed a smoke test, no problem. It didn't smoke, passed compression test. So I was at wit's end, but at least I figured out what was wrong with the 331. Now I got the 347 running. I wish it had more chop to it in cam, but you can't deny that it runs fantastic. It's smooth as glass. It makes all the boost you want to make. It pulls to 6,000 RPM, no problem. So those heads are really good. So a small cam and big heads is kind of like the big cam and the small heads. You know, they're gonna do about the same. But anyway, hope you liked the video. I'm gonna wrap it all up now and call this video the comedy of errors. One was, I created my own problem when I put that intake on and the gasket slipped down. I didn't know it because it was sitting on the head gasket where it's supposed to notch, but apparently it was still too low. So that was my fault, I missed that. That's why that engine's out. That was a simple problem. Could have put intake gaskets on it and probably fixed that motor 100%. But then I went and bought another motor and it had the wrong weights with it, and I spent it 4 or 5 different times taking it apart to finally realize it's zero balance. It's got a zero balance flywheel and a zero balance balancer on it now, and it's smooth as silk. It runs great. Dual friction clutch is doing good. TKX is doing good. I'm putting more miles on it, and today it is very hot. It's over 94 degrees today, and this thing's running 182 on the coolant temp with both fans coming on and driving around. It's running real cool. Unfortunately, the inlet air temps are also about 180 because that Vortec and no intercooler. So to make more power when it's hot like this, I need an intercooler, but when you first crank it and it's cool, it has so much more power than when it's hot like this. So you can imagine an intercooler can do a lot better job. But these are very hard to put intercoolers on without a bunch of fabricating and piping, so I'm probably not gonna do it. But I do run ethanol, which helps it run cooler. So either way, there it is. It's done. It's back together. Thanks for hanging out with me. You knew my OCD. I would figure this out one way or the other. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you would. I have a lot of people that view the channel, but over 60% of people that view the channel aren't subscribed. So be subscribed, hit the bell to be notified I put videos out. Unfortunately, my video count is very low, and then weeks later it jumps up. So I don't understand if it's something with the algorithm or not, but I've got 60,000 subscribers. You would think I'd get at least a third of those watch views, like 15 to 20,000 watch views. I'm only getting a couple hundred to maybe a couple thousand. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe some of you guys that know the algorithm can help me figure out how to make it work on my channel with all these subscribers. But talk to you soon. Hope you like the content. Thanks for hanging.